First, 5 powerful tornadoes reported in Texas. Homes destroyed, cars tossed, and as many as 11 people killed. Philip Mena has the latest.
That's it! Oh my God, that's it! That's it!
Overnight, a series of tornadoes devastating North Texas.
That's a tornado!
Carving a path of destruction through the greater Dallas area.
Huge tornado! Holy!
Forcing officials in some areas to declare a local disaster.
Oh no, it hit something. Something's on fire.
The National Weather Service sending out a tweet at 6:56 Saturday night telling people to get to shelter now if in the area.
Has issued a tornado warning.
Tornado warnings and sirens sounding off through the cities as the large and extremely dangerous twisters leveled entire neighborhoods, flipping cars and crumbling this church in Glen Heights.
Everything collapsed and went dark and fell on top of me.
The church's pastor, who was inside when the cyclone hit, saying it happened so fast he couldn't escape, the building caving in on top of him.
So I started crawling towards the hallway but couldn't go very far because everything had already collapsed.
Another enormous twister seen here ripping through Red Oak, Texas, taking down power lines and causing a series of explosions.
We got gas everywhere.
Dozens of gas leaks and fires springing up in the wake of the wreckage, leaving over 50,000 people without power immediately following the storm. The violent storm visible even from the air, as Love Field Airport was forced to divert flights and evacuate terminals.
We have been moved here to wait for the storm to pass.
That evacuation order lifted Saturday night, officials allowing flights back in the area just after 9 p.m.
Troy Kimmel, Jr. is a meteorologist and senior lecturer in weather and climate studies at the University of Texas at Austin. He joins us this morning from Austin, Texas. Mr. Kimmel, welcome. How unusual are storms spawning tornadoes at this time of year in that area northeast of Dallas?
Well, I'll tell you what, Brad, I saw a TV weathercaster up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area last night remind everyone that the tornado season in Texas starts on January 1 and ends on December 31st. So they can occur at any time, but what you say is exactly true. This is not something we normally see during the Christmas season, so it is a bit unusual. But I will tell you, Brad, that we saw 80-degree Fahrenheit temperatures in the Dallas area yesterday. I was up there with family for the holidays, and it got up to 80 degrees there, all this warm, moist, unstable air in place. And behind me here, you see this upper level low over southwest Texas. Brad, that comes through there like a bowling ball, if you will, and coming in and creating lift in the atmosphere. The winds are causing those storms to turn, and we end up with what we saw last night. So a bit unusual. The tornado season does pretty much extend throughout the year, though, in Texas. But this time of year, at least, Brad, shall we say, was very unfortunate.
Some people blame the super El Nino weather phenomena in the Pacific for these storms. How have rising global temperatures affected the severity and the frequency of storms hitting Gulf states like Texas?
You know, Brad, I don't think that right now we can associate it so much with the global rise in temperature or global warming, but I'll tell you clearly, this is the modus operandi, if you will, of the El Nino. This is strong upper-level storm systems off the Pacific, like this one we're seeing now over southwest Texas, and as they move in, this is something we normally see with the El Nino type of weather pattern. So I'll place this at the feet somewhat of the El Nino and the very warm Pacific equatorial waters we're seeing down there, and of course the very moist, warm, unstable environment in place across Texas in advance of that low, Brad.
You mentioned the technology behind you a moment ago. How well does current technology, in your view, allow scientists such as yourself to predict the path and the severity of these storms?
Brad, you know, last night when all this was happening, I was watching the Dallas-Fort Worth area and other radars behind me. It's amazing what we can see nowadays compared to 20 or 30 years ago with the Dopplerization and the dual Doppler capabilities of the weather radars that we see here in the United States. We were able to see it. We saw this one coming. Our reporter earlier pointed out that the National Weather Service tweeted out, "Move to shelter." We saw it, and when you sit here and you watch this, you can only hope and pray that people are in the path of this system are doing what you're asking them to do and taking shelter. And it seems like we, you know, for the 11 deaths that we are able to confirm at this point, Brad, there's so many people those warnings saved last night. I really, truly believe that.
Troy Kimmel, Jr., meteorologist and senior lecturer in weather and climate studies at the University of Texas at Austin. Mr. Kimmel, thanks a lot for speaking with us.
Brad, thank you very much. Happy holidays to everyone.